Charmaine here again. Welcome to another tutorial on a paper craft that I've been playing around for the past couple of days with. So the reference for this paper craft is actually just a bunch of vintage ticket booklets that I found online. I decided to experiment and create one of my own. Actually, the base or the very ticket itself is straightforward. The real challenge was getting the perforation so you can easily tear out the ticket stubs. I do have a perforator thing. I got one from Daiso. It's actually for leather and fabric. It is called an overstitch wheel. You can use this if you have one, or other people say you can use a sewing machine to create the perforations. But since I can't find it and not everybody actually has that special tool, I thought I'd make a tutorial using just stuff that you can find around your house. This will take more effort though, but I guarantee that you will still get that crisp tear once you rip off that perforation. That's all anyone could ever ask for, really. I actually made 2 booklets, one with these 3 stubs right here, because I wanted to try the multi-perforations in one ticket booklet. And if you notice, I only used a couple of sheets. I personally didn't want to make the booklets too thick because I want to be easily able to slide them inside pen pal folders, and even more portable when I slide them inside the pockets of my TN. The other booklet that I made is actually a single tear one. This is actually an offcut of the paper strip that I used to make the 3 ticket stub booklet. You'll know what I mean when you watch the tutorial. So it's really quaint and tiny, and it's also cute if you ask me, and the perforations work as well. In this tutorial, I will show you how I achieve the perforation lines without the use of any machine, but of course I still guarantee you that you will get that crisp rip sound. So before we move on any further, let me just invite you to click subscribe and turn on notifications. I upload new videos every Thursday and Saturday, and if at any point in this video you decide that you like this video, you can give this video a thumbs up. And now let's get started and build the base of the tickets. First and foremost, you will need your paper. For me, I'm going to use this old textbook that I've been ripping out pages from for the past couple of weeks. I actually like the newsprint and the text that I get every time I use it. So I'm using this silicone stamp as my basis for the ticket size. I'm just eyeballing the width and just cutting a strip through random sheets of this textbook. I just run the blade a couple of times until I get the number of sheets that I want. Don't worry, this is a really old textbook, so I'm basically upcycling it. So I decided to have about 6 paper strips. After aligning them as best as I could, I just stapled them on together. And once that is done, I am now going to draw my guidelines. I draw about 1 centimeter from the top, and then I measure the length of the stamp that I'll be using. So it was about 5.5, and just measured it 3 times. And then just made guidelines again for these marks that I made. So the width and the length of your ticket booklet will vary depending on the stamp that you are using. So from the 4th mark from the top, I ran my blade multiple times until I cut off the ticket booklet. So there we go. And the offcut is another ticket booklet in itself. So this is the first method in creating the perforation marks. I'm using a tiny safety pin. This is the only one that I have on hand. You can use a needle or a larger safety pin. It depends on what you have. So I'm working on the edge of the table. So there's like a gap between the glass and the ledge of the table, and I just poke holes on the safety pin along the guide mark that I have made. Remember, the smaller the pin or needle that you're using, the closer the holes have to be. Then after creating a series of the holes, I erase the guide marks, and let me show you how it works as well. Ta-da! But for my ticket booklet, I'm using this pointy art tool. It's actually branded as Derwent. I don't know what it is, I just found it lying around the house. But the point is, it has needle-like points. So as long as it has a point, it will definitely work. So as with the safety pin method, I do the exact same thing. I aligned the guide mark along the edge of the table and just poked away. As you can see, this tool creates larger holes, therefore my holes are farther apart. Any pointed tool will work, thumbtacks will do the job, and also, of those pimple popper tools that you can find in dollar stores. Apart from the desk method, I also found this method of using an eraser at the bottom. Do the exact same thing as with the ledge, just poke holes along the guide mark that you have drawn. And if you're wondering, I am doing the perforation marks in batches of 3 or 4 sheets. It really depends on the type or thickness of the paper you use and the sharpness of the needle point of the tool you are using. So I just repeat this method over and over again until I finish perforating the entire booklet. Next is the fun part, which is decorating the ticket booklet. So this is where you can get as creative as you want, but as for me, I'm just using the stamps that I have on hand, just playing around with them, creating different patterns and different layouts. Excuse the absence of an acrylic block. I'm using this furniture template that I have on hand. I am currently working with limited resources, but this furniture template actually worked well and held the silicone stamps. Well, it's not the best, but it worked. It was a bit messy, so as you can see, my fingers actually have ink marks on them, but as you know, the results are still just as good. Take this time to explore your creativity, mix and match different types of stamps, different types of design, styles, and layouts. And when you are done and happy with the results, now it's time to make the ticket booklet cover. So I didn't actually measure this one, I just created an outline for the ticket booklet that I have made. Otherwise, if you want to be sure, you could actually measure the ticket booklet. Just be sure to include an allowance of about 1 or 1.5 centimeter at one end so that you have an extra extension of the paper, which will serve as the flap that will fold over the ticket booklet. And then put the ticket booklet in place and just score right at the top of the ticket booklet so that it'll be easier to fold the flap over. Just look at the screen if you still don't know what I mean. Actually, this part is not necessary. It really depends on how you would like to design your booklet. I'm sure there's a functional reason behind this flap design on the vintage booklet tickets, but I'm just using it more for aesthetic. Then of course, I also decided to put a cover on top of the ticket booklet, and I'm using this wax paper to do the job. I then secure the ticket booklet in place with regular school glue and just fold the flap over. Then I just press it down to hold it in place while the glue sets. And finally, we have our completed ticket booklet and my messy ink-stained hands. And we are done. Here is the final booklet that I have created. I hope you found this tutorial video helpful, and when you do get a chance to create your own ticket booklet, please tag me on Instagram I would love, love, love to see your version. These ticket booklets will be fun to bring during journal meets and just fun swaps with friends, or you can send them over to your pen pals as ephemera or your personal stash of stationery. Why not? Anyway, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you haven't yet, do click subscribe and turn on notifications so you get updates when I upload new paper crafts here on my channel every Saturday, journal with me videos every Thursday. Keep creating, keep healthy, keep safe. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!
There's a cut that bleeds the worst. Every time I count my blessings, I